All right. So, with that, I will introduce our first speaker this morning. Jillian Hens is Director of Communications at the Seattle Metro Chamber and one of the brain power behind our new landing page. She will walk you through some of the resources that can be found there. And Jillian, I welcome you to join us, and I'll click through your slides.
Thanks so much, Lee. I am so thrilled to be here with you all today. We have been working like crazy to get everything ready and all of these new resources that we did launch for businesses on July 1st. So I will get to be your tour guide today. And you can go ahead and go to next slide, Lee. Thank you. So any great communications campaign always starts with research. So we went through the Department of Revenue's website and all the businesses in Washington State that pay taxes, and we looked at unit numbers and who would be impacted most likely by the anticipated 750,000 extra visitors who will be coming for the World Cup matches next June and July. And we did identify 99,096 businesses throughout our state who are estimated to be impacted. So this includes businesses like gas stations and grocery stores, restaurants, of course, hotel and lodging, transportation, arts, entertainment, and recreation. And what was really interesting to me is about 62% of those businesses that we are estimating to be impacted are actually retail, not just our restaurants and lodging. So we have used this information, and then we will continue to use this information over the coming year to make sure that these businesses are absolutely ready to capitalize on the opportunities that are going to come with hosting the World Cup matches. Next slide. So the Chamber, if you've been hanging out with us for a couple of webinars now, you know we have a multi-pronged approach to make sure our businesses are ready. And so we are going to be doing regular briefings like this one. We're going to be doing them monthly. We're going to have trainings. We are going to convene and have special events. And we are, of course, going to have lots of communication as we had recently rolled out on July 1st and will continue now through the next year. Next slide. Okay, so now again, I get to be your tour guide for this super fun landing page that we have developed. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and then Lee, will you let me know if you can see the landing page?
Looks perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so welcome to seattlechamber.com/World Cup. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this friend over here because Boaz is going to talk in depth about this tool, but I will take you through the rest of it. So this is our page we have stood up that is going to be absolutely chock full of resources that are going to be coming over the next year. So we have robust toolkits that we are calling playbooks that will be here and available. And so the one that we have that is live right now is for our Club World Cup Watch Party playbook. So that Club World Cup did just end, but this resource is up. And we're going to leave it up just a little bit longer, just to give you a little flavor of what to expect when the 2026 FIFA World Cup Watch Party playbook comes. So keep an eye out for that one. And then there's also going to be another playbook coming. Visit Seattle is putting together kind of like a how to like do branding around World Cup for your communications and visibility moments. So that is going to be slotted in here when we do phase out Club World Cup now that it is over. And then the Chamber Special Project, we are going to be working on the Small Business Mega Event Playbook. We did go out for through an RFP process, and that is almost done. I got my eyes on the top 3 finalists and their work samples just yesterday, and it is going to be a super comprehensive guide of what your business will need to do to staff up, adjust operations, and get ready for for that influx of visitors. And then also some moments in there that will be helping you understand what you can do in terms of boosting your visibility as well. So you will be able to find all of those playbooks here over the coming year. We also have our upcoming events. This is where we will have our monthly webinars, and we have some really fun ones coming up in just a couple of months here. We're going to be doing one on statewide tourism and traveler behavior, Visit Seattle's Brand C26 playbook that I had just mentioned. And then, of course, when we launch our small business playbook, we're going to have a webinar just like this where we can go in depth and be the tour guide and really help you use that tool. So these are going to be a number of webinars that you can register for. And then don't forget, of course, we will record each of them and they will be available on the landing page here too. Thanks to our sponsors and partners, King County and Google, they have helped make this possible. And then down here, this is where all of our webinars that have been recorded to date are already available to you. Thank you so much, Lee, for getting this up, this webinar today up tomorrow, so that we'll be able to put it on the landing page tomorrow as well. So, and I love webinars because that is training and programming that you can do at any time. You can listen to a webinar, you know, on your commute home, or as I used to joke with Corey on my team, like business owners and managers are busy. You know, a restaurateur is in the kitchen fixing a dishwasher with one hand and then listening to their webinar with the other hand. And so we want to make sure that you have resources that can meet you where you're at. Okay. A very fun part of our landing page is the grant opportunities section. So April from the local organizing committee in Seattle, she says, you know, we want folks to know that like we don't have additional grant dollars for opportunities. And then I love to wave my hand and be like, the chamber does, the chamber does. So this is going to become much more robust very soon. I just saw some copy from our economic development team in the Community Business Connector program that will be in charge of distributing these grants. In that we have about $250,000 that will be distributed in grant sizes of $5,000, $10,000, and $20,000 for nonprofits, local businesses, tribal organizations, and community groups in King County who will be wanting to put together business activation areas or an events. So that could be any kind of free, inclusive, family-friendly event to boost business visibility and community pride around the World Cup Games. And so that will be coming very, very soon. I've seen a deadline on that I think it'll be the grant applications will close, I think, in November, or if money runs out a little bit earlier. But I've heard things are percolating, so we will have much more to share with you very soon in just a couple of weeks here. And then over here, we have a super important FAQ section. So we will be using our research to make sure that if there's questions that we're receiving over and over and over again, well, we're just going to be smart and we're just going to put them on the website so that you can come to the landing page and get your questions answered here. And then if you scroll down a little bit more here, we have a readiness survey. So I would want to encourage each of you to go on and take the readiness survey, and you can take it a couple of times throughout the coming year, because what that is going to do is let us at the chamber know. Probably most people are going to be checking no right now. Your business probably isn't ready. And then we hope to, over time, see more yeses come through. Then that means that we're giving you the resources that are actually helping you adjust your operations. And then if not, it'll allow us to pivot and start to provide you more or different resources or deliver them in a different way. And I did check, and we have had already, we've had 16 survey responses. We have had 10 businesses say no, they are not ready yet. And we have had 6 businesses saying yes, they are ready. So I love that on both sides. And we're just going to continue our journey of making sure that you are ready. So I empower you, go in and take that a couple times throughout the next coming like 12 months or so. And that'll be some really important feedback that'll help us. Another super important tool, we've had 178 people already go and fill this out. This is our email newsletter sign up. We are going to be sending out a monthly World Cup ready e-newsletter chock full of resources. And every time we drop a new resource on the website, we're going to email it out. This is going to be so helpful for you because the landing page is great, but rather than having to, set a calendar reminder of, oh, I need to go back and look at the landing page again to see what's new, don't even worry about it. If you drop your email address or your cell phone number in here, then we will text you, we will email you when those resources are ready, and we will just deliver those to you. You don't have to worry about coming back and checking in. And then we have a contact us form if you have a question here that just doesn't seem to be answered, although Boaz has a very cool tool that I'm fairly certain we will be able to answer most of your questions, or just something that's a little out of the box. Don't hesitate to drop us a line here with this form. It'll come directly to us and we will get your question answered as soon as possible. So that is my little tour right now. And then Lee, we can probably go to next slide. Yes, great. So the small business mega event playbook. I wanted to kind of dive into it maybe just a little bit more and talk about again how comprehensive it is going to be. And the really cool part about the playbook is that it includes what we're calling legacy materials. So these are going to be materials that will help businesses not just with World Cup, but with the next mega event to come as well. Our Seattle Sports Commission, they do an awesome job of bringing large sporting events to our region. And so we know we just had the MLB All-Star Game, and that was like, also we had Taylor Swift and Beyonce in town a couple summers ago, and it was just everything was so busy, and we just want to make sure that businesses can continue to use these resources moving forward, not just for this event. And so that was one piece that I really wanted to highlight about the mega event playbook and some of the other resources that we will be sharing. Okay, next slide. All right, and virtual briefing. So coming up soon, we'll have statewide tourism and traveler behavior. We will have other monthly webinars. We're going to talk about CTAC and transportation, and we've got how mega events can impact our local and regional economies. So don't hesitate to go ahead and scan the QR code or come to the landing page, or you can go ahead and sign up for the e-newsletter and or the text messages, and we will make sure that you are notified of all of the webinars that are to come. And the webinars are absolutely open to all businesses, chambers of commerce, associations, governments, etc. So please keep sharing. And next slide. Okay, I think that's it for me, Lee.
Thank you, Jillian. I haven't seen any questions yet, but we'll give it just a moment here if anyone has a question for Jillian about any of the resources that the Chamber is putting together. Mhm. Okay, seeing none. We'll move on. Jillian will stay on, so if something pops up for you during the rest of the time, go ahead and pop the question in and we'll get it answered. So now I will introduce our next speaker, Boaz Ashkenazi, CEO at Augmented AI. And he is going to walk us through the chat feature that's on the landing page and tell us how it's powered, and is going to keep giving you the best information.
All right. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Boaz Ashkenazi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Augmented AI Labs. And I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to walk you through just a couple cool things that are going to be available to you within the website. All right, so as we discussed earlier, this is what the website looks like when you first come to it. And automatically you have a pop-up, the World Cup Ready pop-up, which is a chat feature that's powered by a large language model that's very specific to all the information for World Cup Ready. So unlike ChatGPT or other AI, this assistant is able to answer questions that are very specific to all the kinds of impacts that you as a business are going to experience from World Cup 2026. And it functions very much like a chat interface, but the knowledge manager behind it, which I'll show you in a second, is what's really powering it. There are a couple different settings here that I want to show you. One is just hit the X and you can drop down to a small bug and get it out of the way so that you can look at the website. There is a maximize tool if you want to be able to chat with it in full screen, and you can always go back. The other thing that I don't want folks to miss is we've built a really, really cool language tool in here because you can chat in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, Somali, Russian, and Chinese and Mandarin. And so this is something that will answer you in those languages, and you can even chat in those languages if you want to as well. And so the way that the tool works is that you are presented with tabs that can kind of get you started. So there's always the ability to have these tabs that get you started, but then you can just ask, regular questions as well. But we'll click one of these and you can kind of see how it works. You can have a conversation with this tool as it gives you information and details about it. It's always going to prompt you with additional questions because it has a persona that is always going to ask a follow-up question and then provide you some adjacent questions. So you can answer the question or you can continue to ask your own questions. It's very fluid and it's all being powered by this knowledge manager, which looks like this. So I'm going to go into the back end and just talk about some of the technical things, which I think are kind of cool. One of the things is that this will not answer questions that are random or not associated with World Cup Ready. This is a knowledge manager that's very specific about all that information. And there's two ways that it gets this information. One is the administrators can add content and edit that content. So through this Q&A, they can add new content, but it also pulls from the World Cup Ready website on a daily basis. So it's always up to date with whatever new information is inside there. And so it's always scraping that information and staying up to date. And this back end is what powers the questions and the answers that come from this. And so you can kind of see like whatever's happening on seattlefwc26.org, any new information that anybody adds as a site administrator, you're going to have the benefit of all that information. The other thing I want to say about this is, and this is something for the admins on this tool, but I'll call it out because I think it's very interesting. And with all the knowledge managers and chat tools that we build, this is part of it, is you get to see what kind of questions people are asking. What is the most commonly used question and answer? And what are some of the new questions too? Because if you start seeing some of these new questions that are coming up, we're going to want to understand how many. Maybe there's people that are asking questions that aren't getting resolved and we want to resolve them. And so, we're able to kind of see in the back end what you care about and then are able to answer those questions for you by resolving and adding to the Q&A or adding to the websites if that information doesn't exist. And so I'm excited about this because I just think this is a new way of being able to access information using natural language. And I think we're going to start to see more and more of these in all of the interactions that you have with websites, whether it's a bank or travel or restaurant. And I just think it's exciting that the Chamber of Commerce is at the bleeding edge of being able to provide this kind of content for you. And so we're really excited as Augmented AI Labs to partner with the Chamber and be able to power this kind of experience. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Lee, and let you take it from here. I'll answer any questions that people have about the chat or anything otherwise related to the knowledge manager.
Great. Thank you, Boaz. Jillian, I think the first question we have in the queue here is for you. Do you know, are all the grants that you mentioned going specifically for activations?
That is my understanding, and that will be activations within King County. I think there's 26 cities, and I don't think Seattle is one of them. So yes, that will be specifically for activations.
Great, thank you.
And thank you to Vaughn, who also answered that in the chat. I see you, thank you.
Any other questions for Jillian or Boaz about our resources, the page, a deep dive into AI?
Yeah, I wanted to highlight one more thing. So Boaz is awesome because he's a chamber member, of course, but he came to us with this proposal, and this is what I wish I had had when I was going through COVID, and trying to get businesses information as quickly as possible, because the information was coming in through so many different avenues for us. And I was daily going to like the Department of Health website and LNI, and then Seattle King County Public Health, and trying to cull all of that information, because I'm really concerned about quality control of information for members. And we built out this knowledge, knowledge manager, this kind of hub that we called it. And I was at Washington Hospitality Association at that time, and we were just doing everything we could to keep everything updated, keep it well organized, while also adding so many resources every single day. And so when Boaz showed me that the tool, it's not just a chat bot that you would think about, like if you went to a retail site and you wanted to, exchange a garment of clothing. It's not like that. It is so much better than that, because I am able to organize our site in a smarter way, knowing that the AI is ingesting what we are telling it to, so I can do quality control. But then also our landing page isn't going to get completely overloaded and overwhelming with links and different items that you as members and businesses would have to sift through to find it. Because we reorganized the knowledge manager, the hub, we reorganized it probably every 6 to 8 weeks or so, just because things were changing so rapidly and it was so cumbersome. So I really wanted to highlight for everybody on the call today, and thank Boaz. Like, this tool allowed us to go through and put together a totally streamlined landing page. And I am not stressed out over, when we get new information, where I'm going to put it or how I'm going to categorize it so that you all can find it easier. So I just want to encourage you, go to your little AI chat friend on the page. It is not a chat bot. You're not going to get a bunch of dead ends, and have a conversation and ask questions, because your team at the chamber has gone through and done quality control. We've filtered that information. It is the information that you are looking for, without a lot of random things thrown in there. So go play with it, have fun, and learn a lot, and send us your feedback too.
Thank you, Jillian. Another note on the grant application, Vaughn has shared here that the activation grant application final draft is under review. So again, we should see more details on that very soon. All right, one last call for questions. Okay, well, thank you all for joining us today. Again, this was recorded, so it will be on the Chamber's YouTube channel and on the landing page available tomorrow. So thank you. Have a great day.